Kupp. I don't care about the price at wide receiver. We're obviously not excited about spending money at running back, so you got to spend somewhere. And if we're expecting a lot of passing, then we probably should go with some of the top tier receivers, maybe the best one available. Tampa, 27th when it comes to yards after the catch. Cooper Kupp, number 1 when it comes to yards after the catch. He has 850 yards after the catch. Most receivers don't even have 850 yards, let alone after they have caught the ball. This is obviously Kupp's biggest game, but this is Matthew Stafford's biggest game of his career. And I would expect that he's going to throw at least 15 balls Kupp's way, and with 15 targets, 15 opportunities for yards against the catch against the Tampa team. I think the upside here is tremendous.
Jeff, he's the highest priced player on this slate. I mean, 17 points last week. That's a down week for this dude, but he's now $400 cheaper at 8.6.
Yeah, look, I mean, if we see Cooper Kupp play well again and just smash this slate, it wouldn't shock me, but I have to lean Davante Adams here. Like, I absolutely do. I mean, everyone is talking about Cooper Kupp and his fantastic season. Davante Adams has 3 games on DraftKings with 30 or more DraftKings points over his last 7 games. That's 4 games over his last 7 games where he's just absolutely demolished slates. And again, I mean, like, this San Francisco secondary, I can't stress it enough, man. Like, they're just not good at covering teams' wide receiver ones. They've allowed 11 touchdowns to wide receivers over the last 8 games. And all of those touchdowns, they haven't come to like fluky guys. They've come against teams' number 1 wide receivers. They don't have the talent back there to stop a guy like Davante Adams. So when I'm looking at Kupp and Adams here and who I want to pay up for, and I'll even throw Deebo Samuel in the mix, I think Davante Adams is like clearly the number 1 choice for me. And I'm not saying it's not close or Cooper Kupp is just going to go and burst into flames this week or something, or you know, Deebo Samuel's going to get a bunch of touches. But I think Davante Adams is the clear number 1 choice here. That is the guy with the best matchup and the guy who's like usage I feel the most safe with. So I'm going to go Davante Adams as my number 1 wide receiver here.
And like his quarterback, he feels very matchup proof. Matt, wide receiver, who do you like?
So the guy I like, the biggest concern I have with him is how popular he'll be, but he hasn't been mentioned. Jeff and Pearce didn't pick him. So maybe that says something as far as like how the chalk is going to look. But Stephon Diggs is only $6,500. Pearce did talk about Josh Allen, and I do think the Bills will be a pretty popular team. But Diggs is so much cheaper than the high end of the receiver range. And if you look at his game log, he hasn't been as good recently. But the reason for that, for the most part, is the Bills have just had huge leads. They haven't needed to pass in the fourth quarter in basically any of their recent games. The Patriots game was a blowout. They ended the regular season with blowout wins over the Jets and the Falcons. They're playing the Chiefs this week on the road. I think that as much as the Bills played well against Kansas City the first time around in Kansas City, it would be pretty crazy to expect the Bills to win via blowout again. And assuming the game's close or the Bills are behind, Diggs is probably going to have to do a lot. So I don't think he's the highest scoring player on the slate or anything, but $6,500 is just such a severe discount off of the rest of the top end of this receiver range. I think he probably is the best value play.